Hey folks, it's Lindsay Huddleston with SPS back in the building over at Veg Head, a downtown Lansing plant-based restaurant. And it's the SPSEdge show. And I have a great guest, a special guest indeed. That is Miss Lexy Alston. How are you?
I am wonderful. So happy to be here.
So happy to be here. This is long overdue. We were due to have this conversation probably going way back over the summer at the Moneyball Pro-Am. And we didn't get to do it, but every time she would show up, she would be in the background doing this to me saying, you know, hey, let's put this together. Why would I be interviewing you? Because you're a journalism major that's doing great things with the Big Ten. You're a track and field athlete. You've done great things at both Eastern Michigan and now wrapping up things here at Michigan State. You got literally 2 to 3 weeks and you're all done.
April 27th.
April 27th. Congratulations, child. Well done. So for the world who wants to know, who is Lexy Alston?
I mean, just like you said, I am first and foremost, I'm a daughter. I'm a sister. That's what most important to me right there. And then I'm a journalism major. I run track and field here. Formerly, I was a soccer athlete at Eastern Michigan before I came here, Michigan State, and I started as a sprinter. And then this year, I transitioned to a middle distance runner.
Middle distance runner. And I know you don't lead with this, but we're giving her whole resume. She's actually a beauty queen. She's Miss Ingham County 2020.
No. I competed in the Miss Michigan pageant, and I placed top 3 in the swimsuit/body category.
Wow.
That's what it was, yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's even better.
And I never put that in.
You never put that in there? Well, I want people to know that you're versatile and all that. We got so many things we can talk about. You're an NIL athlete. You benefit from that. You know, NIL is a passion for me, particularly on the high school level. But just talk about these days and times. What is it like to be a name, image, and likeness type athlete and having that kind of connection?
No, I think NIL is huge for all athletes to benefit from, considering, you know, we bring in a lot of revenue to schools. I mean, basically being an athlete in college, and more so high school nowadays, it's a job. I mean, it's a full-time job. I think about my life, and outside of academics, outside of track, I really don't have time to work a normal job. So really all I can do is hope for these NILs to provide me with some source of income.
Yeah. So what kind of feedback would you give to someone who says, oh, you guys get scholarships, you get a free education, you go to one of the best universities in the country, you know, they feed you XYZ. You know, how do you kind of respond to people who try to push back on that?
It's not free. I mean, we take it out on our bodies. We take it out on our mind. That is not free. It may appear free from the outside, but I promise you, being an athlete is one of the most taxing things.
You just make it look so good, right? That's it. You spent some time with the Big Ten. You do a lot of work with them. I can be at games on the sideline, and you got your Big Ten microphone and all that type of stuff. Talk about what your Big Ten experience has been like. So
I started getting involved with Big Ten Plus about 2 years ago, roughly around then. I just reached out to a couple people. I was like, hey, like when I'm not in season or when I have a couple free times, I'd like to start getting some reps or initially I just was kind of staying in the production area, but I was like, I'd love to get my foot on air stuff. So I started getting some jobs as sidelines and recently, more recently, color commentary, which has been awesome. And I did a lot for women's basketball, which has been really fun because my cousin Moira Joyner is actually on the team.
Wow.
So our
family affair.
Our family loves to like tune in, and I'll be the one talking while she's playing.
Oh, I love that. Speaking of college basketball, women's basketball, 12.3 million viewers. You and I both were viewing the Iowa LSU game. What does it mean to, first of all, be a female athlete, but also in the business, if you will, and seeing all these positive things happening in women's sports right now?
I mean, I think it's just trending in the right direction, the way it should have always been trending. I think women's sports as a whole goes extremely overlooked. I mean, even when you want to look at Michigan State, women's gymnastics, women's soccer, women's cross country, all 3 are Big Ten champions. I mean, those are women's sports. I think they go heavily overlooked.
Yeah, I agree with that. And how do you catch yourself from not being a fan at times or you're at some of these great events? I mean, I've been able to be at some of the events with you as well. It's just an exciting thing going on. I mean, how do you kind of manage and stay locked in?
Honestly, I would say a lot of that is just journalistic training. I mean, you know it better than anybody. We are literally trained not to be biased or cheer for either team, so I think that has transitioned a lot. I mean, I watch sports now, but I don't really watch it as a fan necessarily. I watch it looking at stats. I watch it looking at, you know, the time. I don't really watch it as a fan anymore.
Yeah, you're all ready for that. What got you down this path? I mean, clearly you've always been involved in athletics. You're very successful in that, but what made you want to go the journalism route?
So I knew all along that I wanted to stay in sports. So during my time at Eastern Michigan, I was actually an exercise science major. Okay. And I took a couple science classes, took a couple chemistry classes, realized that that is not the path for me.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I get it.
And in high school, I did a program called Steel News Live. So every morning we would deliver the news to the whole school.
Okay.
And I loved that. I loved being on air, but I never really knew the opportunities that could come with that career-wise until I got to college and I started paying attention to actually watching athletics and being like, hey, I would be interested in like talking. And so I came to Michigan State and just went to my coach and I was like, do you know anybody who would help get me like in the door? And she gave me a couple contacts at the school, professors, and I reached out and they were like, yes, please join us.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Male or female, what are some journalists, sports journalists that you like, you kind of look up to, you kind of lock in on them, who have an influence, you think?
So this is pretty cool, actually, a really cool story. So the gala, the gala last year, Jenny Taft, she's huge, and she came to our school and she was our keynote speaker. And I think just hearing her story like really resonated with me because she didn't focus on like the outcome. She kind of went through her whole journey and she started at this point and it was nowhere near where she finished now. She just really emphasized that the journey's not going to be linear. You know, you have to go up, down, side to side. So I think just, following her and learning from her has been huge.
That's great. Jenny Taft, I like her and all the stuff she's been doing. And again, I didn't want to limit it to just being a female because you can be influenced by others. Yeah. But talk about the other side of being a female in the sports business. Talk about that. I
mean, I hate to say it, but I feel like females, oftentimes maybe their opinions on sports typically aren't as valued as a male's opinion would be, especially when you're talking about basketball, football, things like that. Sure. Typically their opinions haven't been valued necessarily. And I think when one woman does something maybe that could be viewed as flawed, it puts a very bad look on all women in general.
But I'll say this, I don't disagree with that. But shame on me or any other person who will look at an individual who may have a misstep and then say, oh, that's why women or this particular race or whatnot. I just think that people can be lazy when they look at that. Do you feel at times that you're fighting for your role and what you represent at times?
You know what? I would like to say that I've earned every opportunity that I've had so far. I wouldn't necessarily say I'm fighting for it. I would just say my work shows for itself. And I have nothing to prove because I put in the work.
Okay. And to your credit, and I can say this publicly, I'm a big fan of Lexy. You hustle hard. It's like when we see each other like, yeah, we out here. And like she's working, and I think that you're always engaged. And I just know that kind of attitude and skill set is really going to help you. So I know that you're looking at internship opportunities, and I'm sure some great things are going to happen. But let's try to forecast and fast forward 5 years out, 10 years out. And I know you probably don't think about it every day, or maybe you do. But where do you see yourself? Where would you like to be? Help me see with the future.
Ooh, that's a really broad question. I just feel like, I'm not the type of person who likes to, set the bar really high and stuff. But I mean, I would love to, ultimately. My ultimate goal is to be on air.
There we go.
My favorite sport, I do like basketball. I do run track. I love track. But my favorite sport to watch is basketball. And so I'd love to be working basketball. But production or on air, I'd be fine with either or.
Okay. I think you're going to get all these different kind of opportunities. So if anyone's listening and looking for a young intern who can come and help them out, who knows people, is connected, has a great attitude, always just, I think I talked to you about that. I said, you smile all the time? You're like, I'm happy all the time. But that's a great thing. Well, I've enjoyed this. There's some things I want to make sure I don't want to miss out on. We're at a point where you're wrapping up. What would you think your story or your legacy would have been here at Michigan State as you put everything together?
I feel like what I've wanted to leave my mark being is kind of what you just said. Just always happy, do for others what you would want to be done for you. Just be a joy to everywhere you go. And I feel like most people, how they remember me is because I'm just always smiling. Like I might not have a reason to smile, but I'm always smiling just because I want to bring that energy into every room I walk into.
Well, you do that, and I enjoy you, and I'm just glad that I have the opportunity. Any special shout-outs you want to give, anyone you want to acknowledge, or anything else you want to share before we let you go?
Shout out to MSU Women's Cross Country.
Yeah, shout out. You get your
Big Ten champs.
That's good. You get your time in this week. I know you got to do so much time to run.
We actually have a home meet this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, our only home meet, senior day.
When is this gonna be?
It starts at like 10.
What day?
Friday.
Oh, I'll come out. I'll come out with some warm clothes on and go, yay. All right, well, that's good. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know you, working with you. I know you're going to do great things. I just appreciate you being a good friend, and I know you're going to be successful. Okay?
Thank you.
All right, with that being said, this is Lindsay House. Alston with SPS at Veg Head, a downtown Lansing plant-based restaurant. Shout out to Carrie McGee. Shout out to Sean Elliott. It's been a great time, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.